Welcome my friends, this is Professor CA Rohit and I welcome you on behalf of JK classes. In this video my friends, we are going to discuss the RTP for your paper number 3, that is Advanced Auditing and Assurance for November 22. The discussion is going to be divided into two parts. First is your MCQs and second is going to be your descriptive questions. My friends, for MCQs I have a request. What I would suggest is you pause the video, go through the MCQ, take the answer, and then you see this particular video where your answer has gone wrong. So you understand what is the conclusion, what is the idea behind, what is the concept behind that particular question. Because if you just blindly go through this video on 2x and you just see the answer, it may not give you confidence. So try the MCQ on your own and then see. Also for the descriptive paper, what I would suggest is you see the questions. You did not write it, but at least in your head you write what are the main points, what are the key points that will go. You should analyze whether all those key points are there in the answer given by the institute, because a lot of time you know the answer in one word. For example, professional ethics, you know whether it is a misconduct or not a misconduct, but you need to see whether you could recollect the clause. You should see what is the content they have written. Also, when we talk about standards on auditing, you know this is the standard on auditing and whether what they have done is correct or incorrect. But just writing correct and incorrect will not fetch you marks. You should see, you should have an eye for the detail. What is the content that institute has written in the RTP? These are the main points that they are looking forward for. So if such an exam question arises, what are the points that you should write? So please pay attention to such minute points. Once you are done with this RTP, my friends, we also have videos for the previous RTPs. If you have not solved it on your own, solve it all. You put the videos on 2x and refer those RTPs as well. At least go through the RTPs of at least past 3 to 4 attempts. Not because exam question will arise from it, but it will help you analyze, interpret the questions, because in auditing, your paper 3, the biggest problem that student faces is they're not in a position to interpret the question. Once they interpret the question and they say, oh, this is the answer, I knew the answer but I could not interpret. So see as many number of questions as you can, so you can apply the concepts that you have understood in the classroom. So let us move ahead with our discussion of the part 1, where we are going to discuss the MCQs and then our descriptive questions. So firstly, let us begin with the multiple choice question and the integrated case study. So let me read this question for you, but what I would insist is pause the video, go through the whole question, I mean the whole passage that they have given, the scenario that they have given, and then come to the questions. Okay. So what they are saying is Mr. K, a practicing chartered accountant and also a member of CPA Ireland. He handles only GST related work and tax audit for clients. Currently, he is having 19 companies for which he is handling tax audit. At the beginning of the current financial year, he was approached by 40 new clients for tax audit assignment. He was reluctant to accept the work as he feared breaching the permissible limits of handling clients. After consulting several friends of his, he decided to accept the work of just 2 big clients who approached him. So I will not read the whole passage further. Let me discuss the question based on this. So on this, what they have asked is, in the given scenario, Mr. K breached the maximum limit of clients. If yes, he can be held guilty of professional misconduct. Yes. The ceiling of the tax audit can be accepted by the chartered accountant is 20. No, my friends, for tax audit, the limit is how much? 60. So for tax audit, the limit is not 20. So this cannot be the answer. Again, here also, yes, they have given, this cannot be the answer. Okay, so it can be no, because we have not exceeded the limit, because he has 19, 40 more has approached, then it will be how much? 59, he can still accept. So here they are saying that the ceiling limit is 25, no. Here in the above case, the maximum limit is 60. So answer here is going to be D. So the concept was about tax audit. So how many tax audit can a partner do? 60. Next. Mr. J, a case friend, a chartered accountant in practice, is and a member empaneled as insolvency professional acting as a statutory auditor of a listed entity. The audit for the current financial year was completed, but there was some difference of opinion between the auditor and the management. As a result of this, the company did not send notice of AGM to Mr. J. When inquired, it was said that the company is not obliged to send notices to the auditor and its responsibilities of the auditor to be aware of the AGM. Having heard this, Mr. J went to his friend to clarify the above matter. As a result of the incident, the management had not paid part of the agreed audit fees to Mr. J. In retaliation, Mr. J took lien over the few documents pertaining to the company. Having come to know about this, Mr. K immediately informed his friend that it would lead to professional misconduct. So here they did not send AGM notice, which was incorrect, but can we have a right of lien? No, we cannot exercise right of lien. So let us go through question number 2 from here. Assuming yourself to be Mr. K, what would be your advice to Mr. J on the above matter? On which above matter where they have not sent a AGM notice? So what here they are saying is the company has not followed the provision of 146. 146 talks about the right to receive notice. All notices and other communications relating to any general meeting shall be forwarded to the auditor of the company. Also, as per section 147, the company shall be punishable with a fine not less than 25,000 but may extend to 5 lakhs. So yes, this is the correct thing. The penalty also what they have mentioned in 147 is correct. Here if you see the other options, the penalty and everything that they have stated is incorrect, and hence the answer here is going to be A. Next, will the retaliating act of Mr. J against the company make him guilty? So can he exercise right of lien? My friends, if you recollect the ethical standard board of ICI, we cannot have a right of lien. We have discussed this in professional ethics as well as company audit while we were discussing right of lien. So here in this case, yes, as per the recent decision of the ethical standard board, a chartered accountant cannot exercise the lien over the client documents records for non-payment of his fees. Okay, next let us go back to the passage that they were given. Mr. K and J decided to start a partnership. They completed all formalities and went ahead and printed their visiting card as follows. So they have stated chartered accountant, here they have stated CPA, here they have stated insolvency partner. So two different visiting cards. The firm also had received the following assignments: concurrent audit of bank T, statutory audit of bank BBT. It is to be noted that the bank was not sponsored by bank T. My friends, if he was sponsored, then again if you recollect our ethical standard board decision, then you cannot be the concurrent auditor. But now they have said they are not sponsored. Offer to act as a settler of ZZ, we can be a settler. Internal audit of the PF trust. Statutory auditor of the government company. So if you are the internal auditor of a PF trust, you cannot be statutory auditor of that company. So either you can do this or either you can do this, you cannot do both of them. On the basis of the above mentioned fact, you are going to choose the most appropriate answer. So let us go to question number 4. In the given case scenario, visiting printing cards by Mr. J and Mr. K, is there anything which may lead to professional misconduct? If so, under what provisions? So my friends, here there is no misconduct because they have two separate visiting cards and both of them are allowed. Both are the designation which are recognized. So and hence there is no misconduct here. So answer here is going to be B. Last, the firm had received the assignments: concurrent audit of T, statutory audit of BBT. It is noted it is not sponsored. So I can accept this, I can accept this. Offer to act as a settler, yes, I can accept. Internal audit of PF trust of a government company or statutory auditor of a government company, my friends, as per the ethical standard board, you can accept either of them. So if you accept this, you cannot accept this. If you accept this, you cannot accept this. So what will be the answer here? So answer here will be B, because you can accept 1, 2 and 3, but out of 4 and 5 it has to be or. So you can either choose 4 or either you can choose 5. So this was our integrated case study question. Now independent MCQs. Question number 6. Mr. B, one of the partners of the firm, is facing a dilemma as to whether the firm BMY LLP should accept the appointment as statutory auditors of Messrs. Foam Limited, wherein Mr. B had sent communication in writing addressed to the outgoing auditor. Mr. Dalai, under the certificate of posting, and the outgoing auditor has sent an acknowledgement via their official email. But this email address of the outgoing auditor is not registered with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Mr. B is of the opinion that this is not positive evidence of delivery and violates the provisions of the Code of Ethics if the firm accepts the audit assignment. with respect to the dilemma being faced by Mr. B, partner of the firm, regarding the acknowledgement of the communication from the retiring auditors, why their professional email ID is not a positive evidence of delivery. My friends, this is positive evidence. So it should be, preferably if the email ID is registered with the institute, but this is an official email address, and though it is not registered with the institute, there is no problem here. It can be considered as a positive proof of delivery. So answer here is going to be B. The dilemma of Mr. B is not correct, as it is positive evidence of delivery, as the same is received from the official email ID of the outgoing auditor as per the code of ethics. So there is no dilemma here at all. Question number 7. CAZ, appointed as the statutory auditor of JB Finance Limited, a non-banking finance company, NBFC, covered under the NBFC, systematically important non-deposit taking company and a deposit taking company are Reserve Bank directions for the year 21-22. Following information is available with CAZ with respect to JB Finance Limited as 31st of March 2022. So now we need to, what is the provision is to be made. For standards it is 700, substandard it is 200, doubtful up to 1 year 10, and doubtful more than 3 years it is 50. What will be the provision? So in case of standard, we create a provision of 0.4%. So 700 into 0.4 will be around 2.8. For substandard, we create a provision of 10%. So 200 into 10 will be 20. Then for doubtful up to 1 year, we are going to create a provision of 20%. So 10 into 20% is 2. And for more than 3 years, we'll create a provision of how much? At least 50%. So here it will be 25. Now when you add up this, so it will be how much? 49.8. So the first option itself is 49.5. The answer here is going to be 49.8. So this was a question number 7. Next, question number 8. While auditing with respect to compliance with CARO 2020, Mr. Om Prakash, for additional reporting purpose, observed the following relevant to para 7 of CARO 2020. So now what do we need to report under this particular para? What is the statutory dues, undisputed dues outstanding for more than 6 months? For more than 6 months. But we check this particular thing on the balance sheet date. So we need to check whether it is outstanding for more than 6 months. So now if we talk about provident fund, it is already paid on the balance sheet date. We need not talk about it. Second, 23rd of October, which is paid on 24th of April. So again, if you see, it was not more than 6 months. So again, we need not report this. On the 28th of September, however, it is paid on 10th of April. So see, 20th of September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So 6 months are due on March. But now, so 6 months are over. So it is over more than 6 months. Though it is paid on 10th of April, we will have to report because it was outstanding for more than 6 months. So this particular thing we will have to report. On 18th October, so which was due on 18th October, not paid till date. But my friends, we see as on the balance sheet date. So for example, if we count from 18th of October, then November, December, January, February, March is only 5 months. So it is not outstanding for more than 6 months as on the balance sheet date, and hence again this also we will not have to report. Next, so what we have to report so far here is 0.65. Also a representation was made to the GST department for waiving rupees 1 lakh for the late payment of demand. What is the total amount of statutory dues to be reported? My friends, they are saying a representation was made. When we talk about representation, a mere representation is not a dispute. We have just made a representation that this should be waived off. What is the amount of statutory dues that needs to be reported? So here it is 0.65 lakhs. If you go, the answer here is going to be what? B, 0.65 lakhs, because that is the undisputed amount which is outstanding for more than 6 months. We just need to report that. So this was our question number 8. Question number 9. With respect to the audit of public sector undertaking, which among the below is related to proprietary audit? Now, which is related to proprietary audit, my friends? If you read all the options, option D is related to proprietary audit. It stands for the verification of the test of public interest, commonly accepted customs and standards of conduct. This audit is directed towards examination of management decisions in purchases, sales, contracts, etc. So answer here is going to be D. Last, in case of peer review, which among the following the review shall covered? So A was compliance with the legal regulations governing the firm. Next is check with the qualification of the article assistants and the other staffs are sufficient to be employed. Compliance with the tax regulations of the firm, which includes filing IT of the firm, payment, etc. Training program from staff concerned with assurance function. My friends, peer review deals with assurance, including availability of infrastructure. So here D is one of the most appropriate answer. So for question number 10, answer will be D. So with this, we are done with our discussion of the MCQs. Moving ahead with our discussion of the descriptive questions. So Abhinandan Limited, a chemical manufacturing company having its factory located at Nanded, for the year 21-22, appointed Subahu and Company as their statutory auditors. During the course of audit, Subahu and Company identified that Abhinandan Limited received a show cause notice from National Green Tribunal based on the investigation performed by the Regional Forest Department for violating environmental laws. Upon gathering a further understanding of the said matter, it was identified that Abhinandan Limited was dumping toxic solid waste without treating it on the nearby grounds. And because of this, the nearby water bodies were getting polluted. Based on the preliminary investigation performed by the Regional Forest Department under the direction of the National Green Tribunal, it was identified that these practices were carried out since 2009. And a lot of damage has been done to the environment by Abhinandan Limited. A show cause notice was already issued to Abhinandan Limited by the National Green Tribunal for levying penalty for an amount of 500 crores. The unaudited profit for the year 21-22 of Abhinandan Limited was 35 crores and the unaudited turnover was 100 crores. Upon inquiry, it was identified that Abhinandan Limited disclosed the matter in the financial statement by way of a footnote. The company has received a show cause notice from the tribunal for some potential violation of environmental laws, and the company's legal department has assessed and found that the judgment would be in favor of the company. Accordingly, no provision has been created. In light of the above scenario, kindly provide what should be appropriate option for the statutory auditor of the company to report this matter. So now my friends, right now I have read this question, but henceforth what I will be doing is you can pause the video, you can read the question and I will directly explain you what the answer is, because when I read the answer any which ways you will have to pause it and see it. So unnecessarily I will not like to drag the video and make the video very huge. So here in this particular case we need to mention about our essay 250. See, at the end it is about what, whether we are complying with laws and regulation. Also, it somewhere hints about SA 570 that there may be a material uncertainty that the company may not continue. If we think, okay, yes, the company is not going to continue, everything has to be done, accounted from book value to realizable value. If the management has not done so, we will have to modify our opinion as per SA 705. So, if you see the answer, firstly they explained you what are we supposed to do as per SA 250. Then we were going to discuss about what? Going concern, SA 570. We have already discussed all those things in our summary notes already. And at the end, if the financial statement do not disclose the same, we may have to modify our opinion as per SA 705. Also, one point what they have mentioned here is you also need to disclose under 143(3)(j) of the Companies Act about the going concern. So all these things you need to mention in your answer. So this was our question number 11. Question number 12, I am pretty sure everyone can very easily answer this. So in this particular case, what they are saying is Chintamani Limited, Chintan and Mani as the statutory auditors of 21-22. Chintan and Mani seems to have different options of audit approach to be adopted for Chintamani Limited. Is of the opinion that 100% checking is not required and they can rely on sampling techniques in order to provide a reasonable basis. Chintan is concerned whether the use of sampling has provided a reasonable basis for conclusion. You are required to guide Chintan about his role if the audit sampling has not provided a reasonable basis. So if you recollect, my friends, we evaluate the results. We need to see whether they have given a reasonable basis for conclusion. If there are any anomaly, we need to extend our, we need to obtain an evidence that it is not representative, it is a common feature, extend my audit procedures to all such items. At the end, if I conclude that these are unreasonable, I cannot rely on the sampling, then in that case I will have to extend my nature, time and extent of audit procedures. So we have already covered this. You need not do the same from here. Next is question number 13, risk assessment and internal control. So in this case, Arihant Limited was engaged in the business of owning and managing hotels and resorts, selling tourism packages and performing airline bookings for corporate and individuals. It appointed Upadhyay and Company as the statutory auditor for the financial year 21-22. While planning the audit, the team decided that the risk of improper revenue recognition from the hotel should be treated as a fraud. The conclusion was based on the assessment of the earlier years, wherein no fraud was identified in the revenue recorded from such business. While testing the internal financial controls over the process of revenue recognition, it was identified that the controls were not properly designed to mitigate the risk of fraud and risk of improper recognition. As a result, the audit team decided to perform additional substantive testing, because if you cannot rely on the controls, you will have to increase substantive testing. However, the audit team was to the conclusion that there no risk of fraud in revenue recognition. During the course of substantive testing, it identified the management did not account revenue received from the corporate hotels amounting to rupees 35 crores. These amounts were partially received in the company's bank account and partially in CFO's personal account. Amount received in the bank account of the company were disclosed as advances received against the future bookings. In the light of the above scenario, kindly guide the statutory auditor with respect to their responsibility relating to fraud in the audit of financial statement. So now what is our responsibility in relation to fraud here, my friends? So here we will have to write about SA 240, also 315, identifying and assessing the risk of a material misstatement. Also, since in this particular case the fraud is greater than 1 crores, we will also have to report in accordance with 143.12. So just make sure you go through this particular answer from here. Mark this important. This was one of the good questions that you must go through. Question number 14 is very simple. So they have given the whole question. At the end, what they are asking is explain what are general IT controls, what are application controls, what are IT dependent. General IT controls, if you recollect, they are a completely automated control. They are fundamental. If they work well, only your application controls will work well. Application controls can be automated or it can be manual as well. IT dependent controls are always going to be manual. It is just they are dependent upon the IT. We have covered very much in detail during the lectures, so you just need to focus to that. I am pretty sure everyone could answer this particular question. Now, question number 15 is mainly focusing your concept of the schedule 3 and your which you have already covered earlier. But my friends, you have covered this in your foundation. So I am here in this particular example, you need to focus more, because as per the past trends, I have been observing in Companies Act at final level, they are very barely asking you sections. What they are asking you is either Caro or either schedule 3 or either a question based on Ind AS. Because my friends, any which way, section 139 to 148 is part of inter-CA law. It is part of inter-CA audit, which weighs almost, for audit at inter-CA level, it weighs almost 20 marks. For law, it weighs almost 10 marks. So already they are asking this chapter for 30 marks at inter-CA level. So I don't think so they will ask you such questions again. So somewhere at your level, what you can expect is definitely a question based on Caro or schedule 3 or Ind AS. So this whole question is based on schedule 3. So I am not discussing this whole particular answer. I am pretty sure you know schedule 3, and if you do not recollect, you can just go through this question once. And on the module part as well, they have given the whole of schedule 3. When you go to Companies Act, just have a quick revision of the schedule 3. Next, moving ahead with question number 16. Now, Gautam Limited borrowed 1000 crores from XYZ, the principal of which was repayable after 5 years, and the interest was payable at the end of the year. For 4 years, Gotham Limited paid the interest amount on time. Gotham Limited defaulted on 5th installment of the interest and the principal, which was due on 30th of June 21. On March 21, Gotham Limited approached XYZ Bank and MNO Bank to restructure the existing liability. As a result, the existing principal and the outstanding and the overdue interest was restructured into a new loan amounting to 1100 crore. The management did not provide any disclosure for the default on the loan on the belief that the old ceased to exist and the new loan has maturity after 5 years. During the audit for the financial year 21-22, KP and Company identified this transaction and obtained the relevant documents and understanding based on the underlying documents. It was identified that the said restructuring agreement was approved and signed on April 22 by both the banks. As a result of 31st March 22, the restructuring was not approved. In the light of the above scenario, kindly guide the statutory auditors in the reporting of this transaction. So basically what they are asking you is Caro. So here you need to report that in this particular case we were unable to repay it on time. You need not mention anything about restructuring because the restructuring did not take place, but at least you need to mention that it was not paid on time, and when it was not paid on time, if you recollect Achar, you need to say disclose the nature of borrowing, name of lender, what was the amount not paid, whether it was interest or principal, number of delays, and a remark if any. Nothing is to be mentioned about the restructuring, and however if it is not done, you may have to modify the opinion. So here this was question number 16. Moving ahead with question number 17. Again, question number 17 is very easy to go. I am pretty sure that everyone can answer this particular question. So what is question 17 saying is, CA Bahubali is the statutory auditor of Bharat Limited for the financial year 21-22. During the course of audit, CA Bahubali noticed the following. With respect to the debtors amounting to rupees 240 crores, no balance confirmation was received by the audit team. Further, there have been defaults on the payment of obligations by the debtors on the due dates the year under audit. The company created a provision for the doubtful debts to the tune of 40 crores during the year. The company had stated that the provision is based on receivables which are older than 39 months, which according to the audit team is inadequate, as such audit team is unable to ascertain the carrying value of trade receivables. Now in the second case they are saying in respect of inventories which constitute 38% of the total asset, which means it is very material and carries a substantial proportion. During the reporting period, the management has not undertaken physical verification of inventory. Also, the company has not maintained adequate records. The team was unable to undertake physical counting. So here we did not have psi. If we do not have psi, and if the matter is, see here also they said unable to ascertain, here also they said we are unable to ascertain. So we do not have psi, and it is very much evident that the matter is material as well as pervasive. Then in this case we will end up giving a disclaimer of opinion. So what you will give here is a disclaimer of opinion. So this was 17A. Next, 17B. How should the auditor give description of the auditor's responsibility for the audit in the financial statement when the auditor disclaims an opinion on the financial statement? My friends, we have discussed all these types of reports, what are our responsibilities, in fact every element of the financial statement, and was time and again in their lectures saying that at final CA level they will ask you such question. Forget final CA level, they have started asking such questions at inter CA level as well. So somewhere make sure that you focus on every component of the audit report, because they can end up asking any part, write about the auditor's opinion, basis of opinion, auditor's responsibility, management's responsibility. So every component is going to be important. Even for the place of the audit report, they ask you a lot of time MCQs. Hence this discussion is going to be very, very important. So please go through this 17B as well. Next is consolidated financial statement. So question 18, what are they talking about? Jambu and Sudharma Investment Limited is a company having paid up share capital of 1 crore. It has a subsidiary, Investors Fund Management Limited. Major business of Jambu and Sudharma Investment Limited is to pool money from investors on a collective basis and invest this money in various funds. This company pooled rupees 12 crores from a number of clients which represents the company's shareholders. While auditing the books of accounts of Jambu and Sudharma Investment Limited, CA Vardhan observed the whole amount of rupees 12 crores pooled has been invested in the shares and debentures of various companies, and profit earned due to appreciation of prices of the shareholders had been distributed to various shareholders of the company. Performance of all its investment is measured on a fair value basis. Now CA Vardhan raised an issue that auditing financial statements of Jammu and Sudharma, whether the consolidated financial statements are required. My friends, you have prepared this very well. We have discussed this in your paper of audit as well, that my friends, if you are an investment entity, then you did not prepare your accounts as per the CFS. You do have already discussed this in FR, but I have highlighted this while we were discussing in audit, that ICAI has been focusing on this point time and again. To be honest, it has been asked at least 4 to 5 times in various material, may it be RTP or the past papers. So this is going to be important for CFS. Make sure you prepare this answer very well, though it is a commonly asked question, though you know it, but prepare the content well so you do not lose even a single mark out here. Next is audit of banks. Now here they are talking about cash credit and overdraft. My friends, for cash credit and overdraft, let me just revise the concept of NPA. If it is exceeding the sanction limit, so if the sanction limit is exceeded for more than 90 days, it will be straight away classified as OOO, that is out of order. If the sanction limit is not exceeded, then in that case we will see whether there is any credits or whether there are no credits. If there are no credits, if it is outstanding for greater than 90 days, straight away classify as OOO, out of order. If we have received the credits, we will see whether the interest debited has been received or interest debited has not been received. Has not been received, again OOO. If interest debited has received, then no problem, not to be classified as NPA. So now there they are saying that as per the papers and everything, the credit facility allotted to them was rupees 50 crores. So here they have given us 50 crores. Now what they are saying is the balance in the overdraft credit facility is 55.65 crores. So they have exceeded, but this has been exceeded only for the month of March. So if it is not exceeded for more than 90 days, it is not NPA. So here there is no NPA for now. Second, as per the terms of sanction letter, stock book debt statements were required to be submitted. Latest available stock statement for the month of February showed the drawing power as 48.5 crores. Only. However, the stock book statement of the previous month show adequate drawing power. So somewhere it was not overdue from the month of March, it was overdue from the month of February itself, because the stock statement itself had misstatement. But still I cannot say it is NPA because it has not exceeded 90 days yet, because February and March it is not 90 days yet. Fine. Next, moving ahead, stock audit of the borrower was also conducted during the year by one of the empaneled stock auditors of the bank. Stock audit report dated on 31st of December placed on the record show adequate drawing power. However, it adversely commented on declining turnover. So somewhere this does not affect our NPA provision yet. So nothing has, so far they have given which will affect the NPA provision. Now this one point that you need to make sure that you know of. The renewal of the credit facilities on 20th of October. The account was renewed by the competent authority for a period of 3 months pending submission. So what they are saying here is, RBI lays down ordinarily credit limit need to be reviewed not later than 3 months from the due date. As per the guidance note on the audit of banks, in case the constraint of such non-availability of financial statement and other data, the branch should furnish evidence to show that the renewal or the review of credit limit is underway and should be completed soon. In any case, delay beyond 6 months is not considered desirable as general principle. Hence, an account where the credit limit has not been reviewed or reviewed within 180 days from the due date will be treated as NPA. So here it has not been for overdue for more than 180 days because this was pending for over a period of 3 months. So here also there is no provision of NPA. However, the borrower has not completed renewal papers till 31st March. There is a request letter from the borrower on record stating that the valuation of property located at faraway location was taking time. The branch has classified the account as standard considering the above CA Prachi's dilemma to proper classification of the advance. So this account is not to be treated as NPA. Keeping in view all the above factors, Prachi should accept the classification of account as standard asset because this should not be treated as NPA. So this was audit of banks. So this was an important question because here a lot of students may have faced some troubles here, and if they do not recollect cash credit and overdraft. So just go through this particular question as well. Next, question number 20, a comparatively a simple question. Sudarshan Limited is a company registered with the Companies Act 2013. The company is engaged in the business of loans and advances, acquisition of shares, stocks, bonds, debentures, securities issued by the government or local authorities for the year ended 31st March. Following are some extracts from the financial statement. So now what are the extracts here? They have given paid up capital, they have given assets and everything. Now you just need to see whether it has been classified correctly as NBFC. When you will classify it as NBFC, when out of the total assets more than 50% assets are the financial assets. So now here the assets are this two, non-current assets and this. So if you take 75.5 plus 294.33, this will be your assets. Out of the total assets, you always remove your intangible assets. So total assets will be 618.55 minus 6.35. So let us see the answer here. So financial assets is 369.83. Total assets after excluding the intangible assets is 612.5. So this is obviously more than 50%, and hence it can be classified as an NBFC. So I am sure a lot of you were in a position to crack this particular answer. Next, question number 21. So what they are asking here is, Belumoria and Belumoria, a partnership firm, is engaged in providing engineering consultancy services to insurance corporates in automobile sector. The firm conducts risk inspection of vehicles and submits their report to the insurance company. Both the partners are chartered engineer. The firm is one of your regular tax audit clients. The following information is culled out from the books of accounts of the company for the year 21-22. So what they have given here is what is the turnover, receipts on accounts of the sales, datas, cash receipts from the datas, expenditure, cash loan, etc. The partner of the said firm informs you that due to the changes in the income tax law, their firm is not eligible for tax audit under 44 AB. Is the contention of the partner in accordance with the law? My friends, see, here when you talk about tax audit, if you recollect, for business it is 1 crore or it is 10 crore if you satisfy these two conditions. But here they are not in business, they are engaged, they are into what? Profession. So the limit for profession is nothing but 50 lakh rupees. So Income Tax Act states that in case of profession, every person shall get his accounts audited if his gross receipts exceeds rupees 50 lakh. So it is not 1 crore or 10 crore, here it is going to be 50 lakhs, and since here it is greater than 50 lakh, definitely they have to get their books of accounts audited. So one of the easy question here. Next, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India appointed Sambhav and Associate, a chartered accountant, to conduct a performance audit of MAP Limited, a public company of the government audit. The firm conducted audit with a view to check all the expenses of the units are in conformity with the public interest and publicly accepted customs. The audit report submitted by the audit firm was rejected by CAG. Give your opinion on the action of the CAG. So here what they are asking is, see, what was done was performance audit. Now they are asking, CAG have rejected the report. Give your opinion on the action of the CAG. So here they are asking you whether the action of the CAG is correct or incorrect. So we will have to go through this particular answer. Please mark this important. You will have to understand this answer from here. In this scenario, CAG appointed Sambhav. So they have mentioned what is there in the question. So this is question specific. Now they are explaining what is performance audit. The performance audit is an objective and systematic examination of evidence of the purpose of providing independent assessment of the performance of government organization, program, activity, function. So they have explained what is performance audit. Now performance audit in PSU is conducted by CAG through various subordinate offices. In conducting the performance audit, the subordinate office guided by the manual and auditing standards prescribed by CAG. So what they are saying is it is done by CAG with the help of IAAD. Therefore, the objectives of the performance audit. So what do we check in performance audit is 3E. What are the 3E? Economy, efficiency and economics. Next, performance audit focuses on areas it can add value to the greatest potential. It provides constructive incentives responsible to parties. So they are again explaining performance audit only. So if you see this one paragraph was about explaining what is performance audit. This is also about performance audit. This is also about performance audit. Now, regulations on audit and accounts issued by CAG lays down that the responsibility for development of measurable objectives and performance indicators as also systems and measure rest with the government departments. They are also required to define intermediate and final outputs in measurable and monitoring terms, standardize the unit cost of delivery and benchmark of the quality outputs and outcomes. So they are saying what are the regulations that will be done by the audit and the accounts department. Now they are saying thus rejection of the audit report by CAG is in order as with a view to mere check all the expenses of the unit are conformity with the public interest and accepted custom. Audit firm is not performance audit in all respects. So what you need to mention is this one extra paragraph that they have added here. So you will have to explain what is performance audit, which you already know, but this is one extra paragraph that you will have to make sure that you write in the exam. So if you write only and only performance audit, you may not be in a position to get the marks. So what is needed is this one particular paragraph. Next is peer review. Peer review, my friends, they have asked very basic questions here, and like we have discussed in the lectures, you can expect a lot of questions from peer review and quality review. Every attempt they are asking at least one question. You can also see two questions, one from peer and one from quality. What they are asking is what is the important areas for evaluation of conducting quality reviews in terms of SQC1. So if you go to our JKSC textbook, we have discussed, this was one of the first questions there. So what are the areas as per the SQC1, you will have to write there. Now if you go to the RTP, the answer given here is incorrect. So what they have printed is something else. You need not write this. Please, you just have to make sure that you write the answer given in the JKSC book, which has been adapted from the module itself. So the answer is misprinted here. So make sure you just look into the solution of this. Next is 23B. Prabhu and Company is a large firm of chartered accountant based out of Mumbai. Prabhu and Company LLP is subject to the peer review which was conducted 3 years back. For the peer review of the financial year ended 31st of March, the firm got intimation on 29th of May. The process of peer review got started and was completed on 27 September. In the view of the peer reviewer, the system procedures at Prabhu Company are deficient and non-compliant. The peer reviewer did not share any of his observation with Prabhu and Company as draft and final report was submitted to the board. So they did not share the observation. If you recollect our process in the reporting stage, if you have any observation, you need to first give it to them, then make the final report. Before that, you cannot make a final report. So they have not complied with the procedures. Next, moving ahead with professional ethics, again comparatively very simple questions here. If such questions comes in your paper, it is going to be a jackpot for you. All you need to make sure you recollect the clause numbers well. So what I would suggest is in professional ethics, you pause my video, you read the question and at least try to recollect what is the exact clause number, because it is very easy to understand whether there is a misconduct or not a misconduct. There is nothing confusing given here. But if you do not write the clause number well, you are not going to get the marks. So let us do 24A. CA Dev started a practice in Punjab in the year 2019. CA Dev issued a turnover certificate to Messrs. ASA traders to be forwarded to the bank for the purpose of availing cash credit and machinery. Brother of CA Dev was a proprietor there. My friends, we cannot give an opinion where me or my relatives has substantial interest or control. So here my relative brother, he has a substantial interest that he was a proprietor there. Can I give my opinion there? No. But the problem is not writing the answer. I'm sure everyone could recollect this. The problem here is writing the correct clause number. So here what is the correct clause number? It is going to be as per clause 4 part 1 to the second schedule. If you cannot state the correct clause and write the clause correctly, my friends, you will not get marks. So focus mainly on the clauses in such easy questions. And I have seen students recollect the clauses of part 1 of the first schedule very well, in fact rather the whole first schedule, but when it comes to the second schedule, they do not code the clauses well. So focus mainly on memorizing the clauses of the second schedule. Next, Agam Private Limited requested CA Sheetal, a practicing chartered accountant, to digitally sign the form related to resignation of Mr. Rohit, one of the directors of Agam Private Limited, along with the copy of resignation letter to be uploaded on the website of the registration of companies, that is ROC. The signature of Rohit was simply copied and pasted by another director of Agam Private Limited, CA Sheetal, without verifying the genuineness of the resignation letter, digitally signed the form and said the form was uploaded. Now my friends, this is gross negligence. You did not verify, they have just copy pasted and you actually allowed this. Again, it will be a misconduct, but then you need to recollect, this is clause 7 of the part 1 of the second schedule. You are grossly negligent. There was no due diligence here and hence you will be guilty here. So what I mentioned is, make sure you recollect all the clause numbers of the second schedule very well. Next is, write a short note on the following: management audit questionnaire. So when we talk about management audit, we have discussed a questionnaire. You know what are the questions that we can ask them, how they are supposed to reply in yes, no. So this is already there in our notes. Free look cancellation is from insurance. The opposite party has a time limit within which, if they do not agree with the terms and condition, they can cancel, but we will deduct the proportionate premium and also the any healthcare or medical charges that we have charged, that we will deduct and refund the whole premium. Next is, what are the services rendered by the forensic audit. So all the short notes are easy to go with, but like only the thing is that you need to know the content. So here is management audit questionnaire. What are the questions they can ask? Free look cancellation, and lastly, what are the services that a forensic auditor can give? So this was a discussion of the descriptive questions of the RTP November 22. So with this, my friends, we are done with the discussion of the RTP for November 22. You still have a few points on audit committee and corporate governance, which are already covered by our law faculty in the lectures of law. So all those amendments are covered. Please, if you are not aware of those videos, please go and view those videos by the law faculty. So with this, we put an end to our discussion of RTP November 2022. Thank you very much, my friends. If you have any doubts, you have the doubt solving mechanism, you can text us on the WhatsApp helpline. You can also come for the Zoom doubt solving session. Thank you very much. See you all sometime soon. Thank you.